Well, good morning. This is not actually a part of how to be a Bronco series, and we'll explain it in a sec. But this is actually about a fairly serious thing. What's probably going to happen in the future. It's a thing that my brother and I have referred to as the great and terrible day to come. And for starters, I guess I should say, well, we should explain what that is. What is the Great and Terrible Day?
It's when the Vandals play the Broncos, I guess.
And the reason why we call it that is, well, not only because of what happens when the Vandals come to town, but if you notice, they don't. Boise State does not play the University of Idaho anymore, and there was good reason for it. And but yeah, I guess we should first start like what used to happen in the old days when that particular rivalry game would come to town. Like why do we not like interacting with Vandal fans?
That's mainly because the way they act. Not that nice, and they're pretty mean no matter if they're winning or they're losing.
Right, and there's a fair amount of inebriation associated with that.
Yeah.
Like, we've probably told this in a video before, where there was an old couple in the holiday parade that we saw. There are multiple years of this happening, but there's a specific one that sticks out in my mind, where the Vandal marching band was in the holiday parade, and later that day there was one of those rivalry games, I think that's how it went down. And as we were right next to this old couple, and as the Vandal band was marching on, marching past us, the man of this couple, he yelled, "Go Broncos" at them. They stopped what they were doing, and there was like 4 or 5 deep of them. Went right up to this guy's face, and this guy is no spring chicken. He's old as dirt. Gets right up into his face and started, "Go Vandals," and you start screaming in his face. And this happens for at least 45 seconds to a minute. Before they continue on. What is that really appropriate behavior? And the thing is that very similar incidents happen with any section of the Vandal fan base, whether it's just rank and file fans or their marching band or some of their staff with one story. And you could smell on those people's breath that they had been drinking, like even the marching band. It's just wrong. Anyway, this video necessarily isn't for the benefit of the here and now, but whenever that day actually comes, because ask most Boise State fans that have been around for a while, and they'll give you reasons why Boise State should not play the University of Idaho. Because right now it is 11:19 a.m. in it's Wednesday, September 28th. It's the 28th, right? And it's showing me the timer, so I can't. But yeah, I'll just say that. I'll correct it on the screen if it's really wrong. As far as we know, for at least for the next few years, the University of Idaho is not playing Boise State. But yeah, but when that day finally comes, when they start whining and complaining and writing their legislators that this game should happen when it very clearly should not, you know, that's what's going to happen. And you know, Boise State's not going up to Moscow. And
well, the fans, because they can't act that way at a football game, they act that pretty nasty on social media.
Yeah, that's
Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, really.
Yeah. And we're not even talking about the obvious troll accounts, like there's a popular one named
Joseph Vandal.
Yeah, Vandal Voice. He's clearly a troll. He's clearly a plant. But the rank and file vandals that will go after you just for saying that you were educated at Boise State. And but yeah, this they shouldn't come here. And the thing is that that game is only going to happen in Boise now, if it ever happens again. Well, it's more of a when we have the fear, but it's not going to happen for the next few years. But it,
well,
yeah.
Well, what about I know it's a different sport, but it might have some relation. You know how the Vandal fans complain so much that they can't have the basketball game in Boise at Taco Bell Arena?
Well, that's a very related matter, and I guess that does have something to do with the football rivalry ending.
Would the fans be complaining and butthurt to where it can't be on the blue turf?
They might pull that, but where else could it Where else could it happen?
The expanded double wide up in Moscow there. What do they call that thing?
Well,
I forgot what they call it.
Kiwi Dome. But the thing is that Boise State's never going to Moscow again. They'll probably go to Pullman. In fact, I think that's next year where
no, the on and off. I think there's a year in between for Pullman.
Yeah. But yeah, there's gonna go to Washington State though. But you know,
there'll be Vandal fans going there just to cheer on Washington State.
Yeah. But yeah, when this day actually comes, you know, it'll be very apparent that only a very certain vocal minority actually wants it. My phone keeps going off.
Coach wants it, and the athletic director over there wants it, but none of us want it.
Yeah.
And it's mainly not about the players. It's about having to deal with the fans.
And we know that we've mentioned this in a video before, but there is definitely a reason why the words nasty, inebriated were a thing. And it has a lot to do with their fan behavior, their staff's behavior, their players' behavior. And whenever that behavior would come here, I mean, if you owned land anywhere adjacent to Boise State, you knew that you had a problem on your hands for that going week. I mean,
or if you rented near Boise State.
Yeah, definitely. Or or say that you're just not even really participating in any of the game day activities. You're just walking from one place or to another near Boise State at that time. You know, you run a very real risk of being assaulted.
If you're stopped in traffic, they will pound on your windows. This was before camera phones were really prevalent. It was just right before, and I wish I had one at the time I could start, because they're going to say there's no evidence, but, I saw it with my own eyes, the Vandal fans doing that. And this was after they lost, but they were like that after they won too.
Yeah.
If you're stopped in traffic in that little square around Boise State.
Yeah, but see, the thing is that we, along with many other Boise State fans that have been around for a while, have this very grave concern about this, and it's to a point where a certain rivalry had to die, and that's really sad. That a sports rivalry had to die, and for those reasons.
Their team started to go downhill too, thank goodness, so we didn't
Yeah.
have to play them anymore.
I mean, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. I mean, even people that are on the University of Idaho's faculty have admitted, the problems that they have with the nasty inebriated vandal culture there. But to this day, only lip service has really been done to it. Like, it's still a problem for visiting teams. I mean, it's to the point where vandal fans, and I'm suspecting part of the staff, are trying to pretend that their nasty inebriated culture didn't have something to do with their with their pending exit from the Sun Belt. It definitely did. They come to find out.
And I found out students there, when they turn 21, they get a gift from U of I. It's a drinking container.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not clear, so you can hide your alcohol in it, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not too far away from where you can get pot, so they're probably stoned too.
And so, yeah, and it's not to say that drinking is the cause of the problem. It just makes things worse. Like, pretty much every with the exception of a handful, every college football fan base has a large section which imbibes. That's a fact. But how many of them are actually a problem? I mean, you have to be honest with yourself with that question. How many fan bases are there in which this is actually a problem? Very, very few. I mean, that's why this was so much of a thing in the press when Bob Custer actually came out with the famous quote containing "nasty inebriated," because, well,
it was the dang truth, and he was saying what everyone else here wanted.
And the coach at the time, Chris Peterson, he barely said anything to the press about anything, really. I mean, he would often say the bare minimum. But when he speaks out and says that you've got a problem, you should automatically recognize that you have a problem. And that's the thing a lot of the time with many alcoholics is that you got to sit them down, you got to intervene and tell them they've got a problem. And here we have this chronic problem that that is going to come to Boise State again. We don't want that around. We've got enough problems as it is. So anyway, yeah, that's the unless you have anything else to add, that's gonna be the video on the great and terrible day to come. Y'all have a good day.